Hey folks, how you doing? Hope everyone's well. In this video, not really going to show any vinyl or talk about vinyl. I'm going to talk about my favorite band, Genesis. Recently, Genesis put out, well, they didn't put out, but what was aired on BBC television was a documentary about the band, which was called Together and Apart, and it was just shown recently on BBC television. Soon to be shown on American television. In fact, it's playing behind me, and I managed to watch this documentary so far one time, and now I want to just share my thoughts and feelings about it. Um, well, there's been a lot of talk already amongst the Genesis fans about this video, and there's been talk about this video from Steve Hackett on his Facebook page. But before we get started, in fact, there's a picture of the guys there. And yeah, that's the original five together in one room. Peter Gabriel takes a photograph, and there we are, Genesis together and apart. And then it starts from the beginning of the band all the way to the end of the band in 2007 reunion tour. So it covers the whole story of Genesis, basically. All right, so before I go any further, because of this, Genesis has been doing a lot of promotion, interviews on BBC television, BBC radio. It is great to see at least the three of them, Banks, Collins, Rutherford, together, just going through the rounds of doing promotions on various stations. It is cool to see them together again to do that. So that's been a big thrill for me so far. And of course, the pictures of the original five-man lineup together, all in the same room, going over the old days. That's a real big thrill to see. And of course, now later next month, this documentary will get released on Blu-ray with additional footage, and there is a compilation out on CD called The Archive. It's a good time to be a Genesis fan. I'm not really going to jump on Archive because I already have this nice collection right here, and this CD compilation suits me just fine for Genesis. As far as the solo stuff, I have a lot of that on vinyl and some of it on CD. I'm covered, so I'm really not going to jump over Archive unless I see it used for a really cheap price. Now let's get on to the documentary. This aired on BBC television on October 4th. It's going to be on American television October 10th, Showtime. And in fact, they bring back Jonathan King. There he is. Fresh from prison. Nah, he's out already. But anyway, there's been a lot of bad comments about the documentary from fans, and I really take that with a grain of salt because Genesis fans are never happy no matter what Genesis throws at them. So the fact that they're unhappy really doesn't surprise me all that much. But Steve Hackett has come out on his website saying that he won't be selling the website through his site or his Facebook or promoting it at all because he was very unhappy with this TV version of the documentary because he felt it entirely skipped over his solo career, and his solo career wasn't presented at all. And he felt really cheated by that because that wasn't the point of all this. The point is history of the band and what they did away from the band, and they just skipped right over him. And he's 100% correct. 100% correct. He's only mentioned when he joins the band, and then mentioned when he leaves the band. You see him talking in recent interviews. And then after that, he just disappears. And when they actually do mention some of the solo projects, they go over everyone's solo projects but him. He's completely skipped over. And that is a shame. So he has every right to be pissed off, at least on this TV version of the documentary. He has every right to be upset, I believe. So he stated on his Facebook page. It really is unfortunate that they don't mention any of his solo records, because I have a lot of his solo albums on vinyl. They're all spectacular. I have a concert DVD of his. That's spectacular. I should get the Genesis Revisited DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, because that would be great to have. He has a great solo career, and it is a huge shame that it's not mentioned on this recent documentary. Hey, even Anthony Phillips is on there. So, and also, they make no mention of the album Calling All Stations, or even mention the name Ray Wilson. That's unfortunate. I wish they would. That's new footage right there. That's of them singing the song Looking for Someone, Roundhouse March 1970. I have never seen that footage before. And it's very, very, very early days. Hackett and Collins aren't even in the band yet. I had never seen that footage before. And when I saw that, I was like, ooh, yes, we're going to see footage, that I've never seen before. And I've seen a lot of Genesis video concert footage, and I don't recall that one at all. So I was real excited with the documentary when I saw that clip. Anyway, like I said, it's a shame that they cross over, that they completely ignore Hackett's solo career, because it was a big part of the whole Genesis family sound, and very unfortunate it's not included in this documentary. I was very disappointed that, and I think he has every right to be upset, every right. Hopefully, when it comes out on Blu-ray, there's the clip again. This one's for the Knife. Same archive footage that I've never seen anywhere before. Pro audio too, or at least it sounds from that. Don't know where they found that from. Okay, anyway, on back to Hackett. Yeah, real shame that his solo career is not featured in this documentary. The documentary is good from the beginning of the band, which we're seeing behind me, all the way up until The Lamb, and Trick of the Tail too. That period they covered pretty well. From that point on, it sort of drags a little bit. We have all these newer interviews, but it's not very in depth. For someone who's new to Genesis, this will probably be a very interesting documentary. Old fans like myself and a lot of people here in the VC who have been into the band since the 80s or 70s, you're really not going to learn anything new from this documentary. It's going to tell you what you already know. There are a couple of interviews from two female BBC DJs who are really young and probably weren't even alive when this band was formed. So you kind of wonder why they're even in there, like this lady here. Though, you can respect her opinion, but I guess they're trying to get a younger crowd to pay attention to Genesis. That's probably why they're there. Like I said, it's not the most in-depth documentary in the world. Still, the best documentary on Genesis is the BBC documentary that came out in 1990, which is called Genesis: A History. That one is really, really good. And the Genesis Songbook, that documentary is really good. I think I had it up here. I'll have to show it to you on some other video. But the Genesis Songbook, there it is. This documentary, first get the Genesis: A History, BBC documentary from 1990. That one's the best Genesis documentary, I think. This one would come in second. The Genesis Songbook, that would come in second. And then this one behind me. But anyway, it's a night. This version here that appeared on television, it's 90 minutes long. The last half hour really drags. It really does drag, and though it's great to see the five of them in the room together, going interviews, they don't really show a lot of that. Pretty much you don't see any footage, hardly any footage of Steve Hackett once they go past the mid-'70s period after he left the band, and I'd say '77. After that, there was like no footage of him. He's nowhere to be found in this documentary at all. And the parts that he's in it, there's very little to no footage of him. They show him answering a few questions about entering the band and leaving the band, and that's about it. And then you don't really, you see him sitting with the others, just sort of just sitting on the sidelines. I mean, the focus is Gabriel, Phil Collins, Banks, Rutherford. They're the main focus. Hackett just sort of makes an appearance in this thing, and that's really unfortunate because it's pretty it's pretty much focused on the main four, as some people would see it. As you can see here, they pretty much go past Hackett. There's really no view of him. It's like they go out of their way to ignore him, and that slightly irritated me a bit, because I'm also a Hackett fan as well. But yeah, it was pretty boring though, the documentary. I mean, the first 45 minutes to an hour, I was into it. I was enjoying what I was seeing. I wouldn't say I was blown away by it. I've seen better Genesis documentaries, but it wasn't bad for being a modern one. But that last half hour, when they got to the Abacab album all the way to the reunion tour, that's basically the last half hour of this documentary. It really dragged. Really, really dragged. And you were kind of just like, you were kind of almost bored at one point. I mean, it's great to see maybe a couple of times some of the older footage and the kind of the older photos done in a 3D effect looks really interesting to watch. There's one of the rare clips of Hackett, Steve Hackett. Don't get too cozy seeing him because he'll disappear after a while. So when this aired on the 4th, I noticed the next day or 2 days later, a lot of the British fans of Genesis were really voicing nothing but displeasure from this documentary. A lot of them were just, either they said it was just so okay, or they just completely hated it. And then I believe Tony Banks got some criticism, saying he didn't go over, he came across as kind of snotty and a little bitter. I don't think so. I've watched this once, and I didn't get that impression. He was just answering questions honestly, and to some people, I guess maybe it felt that way. To me, hey, it's just being Tony Banks. I really didn't think he didn't come off as kind of mean or bitter or anything like that, or snobby. He's the same old Tony Banks I've always known from Genesis. Nothing's changed with him. So, yeah, I mean, not the greatest Genesis documentary. I was really expecting more from it than what they showed here. I wouldn't say it's not bad. I still can't wait. I've already pre-ordered the Blu-ray documentary prior to hearing all the bad reviews. Now I kind of wish maybe I waited a little bit, but I still can't wait to get the Blu-ray next month and see the half hour of extra footage that's in there. Maybe they'll show more of Steve Hackett. You can actually see him talking about his solo career and sharing some stories and feelings and memories from leaving Genesis and being in the band as well, because that's really lacking from this. Yeah, I mean, I wish they'd consult some of the band members during the editing process of this documentary. It would have came out a lot better. It really wasn't that in depth. You didn't learn all that much from the band, but someone being a longtime fan, what's there left to learn, really? And like I said in the past, sometimes it's almost impossible to satisfy a Genesis fan. But at least as Genesis fans, at least we have something new here to watch, and it's really nice to at least have something new from this band, a band that means a lot to me ever since I was 15, 16 years old to now. I mean, I've been a big Genesis fan for practically 30 years. And band means a lot to me. It's the reason I wanted to become a musician. It's what gave me the courage to even pursue being in bands. And really amazing stuff. It briefly goes in towards the end of the documentary about the three-man lineup, which is Collins, Banks, and Rutherford, reuniting in 2007 to do a tour, the reunion tour, Turn It On Again tour. I caught a show, obviously an American show, in San Jose, California in October of 2007. So we are now reaching, God, 7 years since I've been to that reunion show. I can't believe it's been 7 years. And I went to it, and I knew I was seeing Genesis. This was my last chance to see Genesis. And after that, there would probably be no more. And I even bought the accompanying live video that went with it, the Genesis When in Rome. This is for the last European date on the tour. Nice packaging, as you can see here. I had to have this. I got the bootleg of one of their shows in Germany that went to all the cinemas and theaters throughout Europe. I got a DVD bootleg of that, and that was really great to have. And I wish I had this ready before I turned the camera on. I do apologize, folks. But I also have the official bootlegs somewhere in here. No, I must have moved them. My bad. Anyway, I had the official bootleg from the show I went to and the opening show of the tour, which was in Helsinki, Finland, in summer of 2007. So that reunion tour meant a lot to me. I'm really glad I got a ticket to see it, and got to see Genesis live one last time. That was one of the best concert experiences I've ever been to in my life. It was like seeing old friends one last time. So, and one last chance to say goodbye and see him in action. So that show meant a lot to me. Even though this is not really my favorite Genesis documentary, I feel very lucky to have a copy of it, and I'll get to watch it a bunch of times and kind of just analyze it and complain about it like everybody else does. Like I said, not the best documentary, but still pretty good. It's not as in depth, or you learn any cool facts like the making of Peter Gabriel. So that was fantastic, and you think you're gonna see footage you've never seen before, learn facts about the band, the inner workings of the band that you never knew before, learn some new things. And unfortunately, there really wasn't much new to learn. It was pretty much same old, same old. And but it's still cool to have it. Genesis is still it's a newer Genesis product to devour, I guess, and that's always a good thing. Maybe not the best one they've put out, but at least it's better than nothing. Anyway, that's going to do it here for King. I just wanted to share my ideas, my thoughts, feelings about the Genesis Together and Apart documentary. And maybe I'll do the same when I get the Blu-ray, which is called Sum of All Parts. But I think I've shared enough opinion. Anyway, that's going to do it. Hope everyone's doing good. See you at the next video, folks.